All right, looks like we're live. So we're back for another day of live streaming in the Raising Funds for World Domination series. So I'm doing this because I'm kind of in between projects right now, and I have a bunch of disruptions and interruptions. So the daily live streaming is just a more consistent way to put out some content. Today I also had a whole bunch of errands to run, so I have not had a chance to even look at or think about the code that I was working on last night. So I guess, or yesterday during the day, because I streamed earlier yesterday. So Orthoplex 64 says, "Oh, with a slash. What does that mean, bro? What is this world domination thing?" It's just a little project that I have, just a little side project. Let's see. The O ahead is a head and the slash is a waving arm. Okay. There's so many things to learn about online communication, so many abbreviations and stuff. I'm just like, it never ends learning more memes and references. And HHVHY says, hey, how's it going? How are you going to dominate the world? The first thing is I'm just going to do this live streaming series, and eventually my hope is that someone will give me a really huge super chat of like $12 billion, and then I can use that money to build a deep water port in a remote island, and then I can start a new country there, and from there build a home base. That's the first step. You got to get your own country. Okay, what did I do yesterday? I was working on, I had a bit of a bug. Okay, yeah, I think I had my, oh yeah, I need to add some stuff to delete parent nodes if the children node, if all the children have been removed. But that getting your own country is kind of cool. Yeah, I think so. That's why I'm doing the series. The only issue is getting a few $1 billion. I go live in a country governed by you. Excellent. You can be my very first citizen. It'll have an ID card, and it'll say number 1. That'll be your social insurance number. It's number 1. All right. Let's run this to see what it does. I'll hold you down to that, sir. Yeah, it'll be a while before I get the country going, but definitely reach out once I get it up and running. But the first thing is the deep water port. Okay, so we're testing closing menus. So what I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to do, I don't know if I have the brain power for it at the moment, is to when I'm doing this search, this recursive search to find the child split to delete, I'm gonna have to conclude maybe I can actually just do this. So if we remove the child, and then the current thing has no more split parts, yeah, if it has no more split parts, then we should remove we should remove that split as well. I have a lot of daydreaming about starting a new country instead of fixing or contributing to my current existing country. I have a lot of daydreaming about starting a new country instead of fixing or contributing to my existing country. Yeah, I mean, at some point you can try and fix your own country, but then at some point it gets bad enough, you can just like start a new country. It's easier. Just like when you're coding, if the code base gets bad enough, sometimes it's better just throw it all out, start a new one. Is there any big enough piece of land anywhere in the world up there for sale? You should watch my my latest long form video about building a new society. There's a place called Axel Heiberg, way up in northern Canada. It's this massive land mass, and there's no one that lives on it. So that means it's free dibs. Whoever starts a country there first wins. How much have you made from these world domination streams? It's a few $100s. I think it's maybe the first few that I did made way more than the last few. So I think the last few, I think it's kind of tapered down over time. But I think maybe like four or so of the last few of them. I haven't gotten any, but I think cumulatively it's probably approaching like $1,000 or so. So the doubling streams were much more lucrative. Yeah, yes, kind of. Although I think there's actually a number of factors at play. One is like the seasonality. So there's just less people on YouTube right now because it's summer and there's better things to do. During winter, you can't really do much. I also think I had a lot more videos that were trending, so it was kind of fresh in people's memory for a while when I was doing those. So I think things kind of aligned well for those. I also think there's if people see your video, there's like a kind of pool out there of people out there who are like, hey, this is interesting content. I just want to give this person like $5 or something. And when you go live, that's it's very there's that pool of people who's interested will be like, hey, here's $20, keep doing what you're doing. But then after you keep streaming for a while, like that novelty wears off, and then the people who are going to give you like $5 or something will do that, and then once there's no more of those people, then that kind of seems to slow down. And that's the impression that I've got. Although I think there's a lot of other things at play, though. Some of it might be the YouTube algorithm, because I've also noticed it almost seems like on days when revenue is low from other things, it seems like YouTube will just send people here who are like, YouTube already knows who's going to give a super chat before they know it. Bro, can you make your head head of obscurity when you dominate the world? Sure. I don't know. I've given people a lot of promises. I'm gonna have to write these down somewhere. I'm gonna forget them all. Bro, but isn't that like a separate idea? The land you mentioned is best part of Canada, and they won't just hand it over to a group of rich folks. I don't know. I mean, if I'm rich enough, you can do anything. And VHY sends $2. Here's $2. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much. Yeah, just like that. There's there's always some people who are just super interested in what you're doing, and then but eventually, like the novelty wears off quick, because you get to see the nice big blue flashing thing. It's exciting and stuff. I don't know. That's just me trying to reverse engineer the psychology of streaming. I personally, I don't really watch live streams, but for the fun of it, I've also tried to tune into a couple and give some super chats to give back as well, just to kind of understand this experience and psychology behind it. Honestly, it's such a random. I would not have predicted that this would be like a business model years ago, but it seems like it increasingly is. Don't get your hopes down. You can be the ASMR version of the Primogen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, once I get a bit more interesting content in the game, then I'll be able to do some content on that. And I've also just been so busy with random renovation stuff. I've been compiling evidence and stuff last little while. And this week I've been talking to one of the lawyers a bit on like getting together documents and stuff. And there's all kinds of like new developments and on the case. I'll talk about some of those after the 26th comes around. Comparing Robert to the Primogen is an insult to Robert. I don't know. He's pretty popular, so. Actually, I mean, honestly, those people, those like constant streamers, they have so much stamina. I don't think I would be able to. Like, I almost feel like I'm too old now. I would get exhausted. Like, if I had a support network of people like making food for me all the time and stuff, maybe I could do that. But these people that stream like 10 hours every single day, I wouldn't be able to do that. I guess if I made like insane amounts of money, but Primogen does only React talk stuff. We don't need many React channels. It was a joke, but Primogen is not dumb at all. Maybe full of himself, but a fun guy. Yeah. I've seen his clips. He's got some interesting takes on things. He's yeah. I mean, he seems like pretty switched on, and like his reacting is pretty analytical. It's not just like, whoa, crazy, and like the kind of low effort React stuff. He actually or at least in the clips I see, I don't think I've watched him live before. I mostly just see the clips that come up. Doesn't call him dumb. He's just extremely annoying. He has more viewers than me, so he's one older than you with a kid. 1 year older. Do you cook? What are your meals like, Mr. President? There's a shop down on the main street here. I usually go to. They have like kind of pre-made meals, and they're pretty it's a pretty good value, and they're pretty good, and they have some variety and stuff, and it's means I don't have to like keep ingredients around, cook and stuff, because it's the time taken to cook is just not worth it. Privagen installed Arch Linux by running whatever command was suggested by chat. No, he isn't really React. It's more of backend sysadmins, Golang and Rust. React is in Reaction Streamer. Yeah, I think I mean, when I think about like reaction streamers, I mostly think about like the low effort people. They just like watch clips all day while eating food and be like, "Whoa, crazy!" But I think he is talented and has incredible stamina for his marathon streaming. Matter of taste, he doesn't do React at all. He was deep into Rust. Now more Go and Zig. He does awesome projects. He's 38, incredible stamina. Has 2 channels. Yeah, I'm behind. I need to be more like him. And how long does he stream for? Yeah, I don't even know if streaming is like a thing. If this will be my, I may just go back to the Saturday update streams or something. But I have to once the hearing's done on the 26th, and then I get some more information. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if they might do something where like we have one hearing and then the hearing is like adjourned, and we have like a second hearing, and we just keep doing more and more hearings. That could be a thing. He wasn't much into streaming before reaching 400k in the main channel. Then started a second channel. Streaming more recently. Interesting. You get a hearing, and you get a hearing, you get a hearing. Everybody gets a hearing. Yep. We all get our hearings. I watched Primagen video on configuring NeoVim. I'll have to watch that. I've been setting up NeoVim has been not on my mental map at all. Although I finished my last shorts and published it, so I was neglecting everything and just prioritizing that. Now I gotta get my sleep schedule back in order, because to film that video. So some of those scenes I had to film them at night, so I stayed up until 2 a.m. and then went out, and it was like 2 hours of filming. So I would come back home and go to bed at like 4 a.m. Because I was out crawling around in an alleyway with a keyboard to film those scenes. And then on the 26th I have to get up at 9 a.m. for the hearing. Thoughts on Salesforce as a dev platform? I have no knowledge of that, honestly. Yeah, I'm not the person to ask actually on that. Number one CRM in the world. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could speculate. I think as the economy goes more into recession, I think stuff to help people get sales there might be more money that would flow into that. I don't know. Like I say, I think during a recession people invest less in marketing, but I don't know if sales is where some of those investment dollars go, or if it all dries up together. What are your thoughts on AI? You think humans will be replaced in 5 years? I think there are some politicians that think that. Honestly, like I keep trying. I mean, I need to try some better integrations, but I keep trying some of the like AI tools for helping me code and stuff, and they're still not good enough for me to really use. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like someone asks about AI almost every session, and actually, I think I even have a stream called "My Thoughts on AI." That was maybe quite a few months ago. I put that out, but I guess maybe I should do a video specifically on it. Then I can say, here's this video. Customer relationship management. Good luck to you for the hearing. Hopefully you don't get evicted. To be honest, I'm of the mindset like everything that happens is a good thing. If I don't get evicted, that's awesome. But if I do get evicted, and it'll be kind of nice to have a change for once, to be honest. And then I don't have to pay rent anymore. Hello, what are you building? I am working on a terminal-based game for where you simulate the process of mining blocks in the Linux terminal. I do think you have potential, Robert. Your mellow style, soothing. I can watch you do stuff for sure. Yeah, I think the landscape of streaming is like not everyone has to be the same. In fact, it's like it's kind of fun seeing like different flavors of takes on things. Everyone has their own unique personality to filter stuff, and yeah, I'll just keep doing more of the things that I'm doing, and when things work, I'll keep doubling down on them. Yeah, I think I want to still try to make videos, because streaming, I find a lot of the stuff that I make, like streaming is just like having a conversation. It's not I think the more valuable, timely, that like more timeless stuff that can impact the world is some of the longer form videos. Like the latest shorts I did, that is completely unlike the content that's on the live streams. How is Salesforce a dev platform? They have their own language based on Java for backend called Apex, and a couple of web development frameworks. Seems closer to e-commerce. I do recall there being like a huge amount of development work with like Salesforce's platform, but I'm not familiar with that ecosystem at all. I would imagine there probably is a lot of money to be made there if you really understand that market. Kind of like like there's a market where if you really understand, well, this probably doesn't really exist anymore, but like WordPress plugins, if you knew a lot about like WordPress plugins for, you know, doing some specific thing on your website, I think there was a time when you could like make this one WordPress plugin and sell it for $1,000 to like, you know, 1,000 people and make a ton of money. Hello, how to make a CPU video is the best ever. Can I post a video of the audio on that over a music beat I made? Can I post a video of the audio on that over a music beat I made? I guess I think you can do like remixing or something. You can remix videos. You know, if I guess like a small sample or something of a couple of words is probably fine. AI is very close to its limit. To improve, we need to figure out a more efficient way to get energy. So that's expensive. Yeah, I think it's also limited by data. There's not enough. Fundamentally, like if you want to like invent new chemicals and stuff, there's a lot of information about like the results of a scientific experiment of, you know, how to do some chemical pathway, and like, you know, some of that, if that information is in a textbook somewhere, then the AI can learn it. But then if it's not in a textbook anywhere, you can't necessarily extrapolate it. You could like theoretically simulate it from like quantum electrodynamics and quantum chromodynamics, but I think those are like really computationally intensive, and you need like they're not really scalable to more macroscopic things. So you just have to do the experiment and manually put the data in the computer. I did some Salesforce API integrations. An old company I used to work for in Toronto. It was decent, but I felt like it was a little bloated and over-engineered. Interesting. Yeah, that's outside my domain. I'll vouch for you that Robert is a good tenant. Indeed I am. It's bloated, but clearly it works because so many companies use it. It's extremely expensive too. Yeah, it's I don't know why they use it, but I do know I see it all the time on random stuff where I see I'm talking to someone via email and it'll say like sent through this Salesforce thing. What are you planning to do after world domination? Probably just fix all the problems in the world. I don't follow you. NGL, I guess I don't sell anything. Dev platforms to me are like hosting platforms like DigitalOcean, might be SDKs and other stuff. Yeah, outside my area of expertise. Thank you kindly. I will let you know when I make it. Cool. What will be the first problem? I think the most important problem is the economy. We got to get a good economy going. I think like a long-term sustainable economy. where we have some like basic accounting of like the consumption that we produce more than we consume. Let's see if different computing paradigms can lead to better AI. You follow the work of I can't pronounce that name. I'm not appreciative of ideologies, the accent things. Sounds like a cult. I'm not familiar with that guy's work, so I don't have any comment. How would you do that? I think probably you have to get the right people on the problem. I think if you get I think if you get a group of people together who are kind of all on the same team, and you say like, hey, we're going to go camping. Here's how much we're going to consume. Here's how much we're going to produce. Here's all the work that needs to be done. And then you like assign jobs, and everyone's like productive, and everyone pitches in and contributes their part. There's like a balanced equation of like the amount produced and contributed is equal to what is consumed. And I figure society is basically the same thing. Because technically, societies are all just a big group of people camping in the wilderness. That's basically what a city is. It's just that the tents are buildings. I think as long as banks exist, we are due to have inflation. Yeah, I guess. I mean, having inflation is having some inflation is like a deliberate intention on the policy of central banks. So like the 2% inflation target, which is incentivizes people to invest their money and keep, instead of just hoarding it. Ever heard of based Beth Jesus? It's an alter ego of that guy. Aren't you Canadian? No, I've never heard of those people. There's too much internet, and I gotta do things and make money. Guillaume is a Canadian mathematical physicist, quantum computing researcher. I'll look him up if I remember. Although I have to admit, I forget. After the stream ends, I forget almost every conversation that I have. And then when I go back into streaming, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember all those conversations. When loans are given out, interest causes money to be created, which causes the value of money to drop. Yeah, I think the banks want inflation a little bit. They want like some moderate inflation because it, if your money is doing nothing, if your money is getting inflated away, that incentivizes you to invest it in things and loan it out, so that way it's actually productively working. Why such massive tabs? I just use the default. I prefer to just use defaults on things as opposed to configuring them all the time over and over again. Big tabs are beautiful tabs. They make it more readable, at least when it's, unless you have like, once you go beyond like 10 indentations, it gets hard to read. Save your vimrc after you configure it. Then you're good forever. I often work on like multiple machines, so I try to that's why I try to like conform my workflow to something that works everywhere. Why did my message didn't show? That is because YouTube censored you. So in the chat window, I can do this top chat, which is like a filtered censored chat that like Google auto censors things based on some algorithm. And there's also live chat. So if I switch it to live chat, then I'll probably see your message, but then I also have to do more moderation. So it's just as a decision to accomplish two things. One is like, I do need some moderation if people come in and just spam stuff, but also I find it interesting when people say, hey, why didn't my message show up? Because that means you said something that YouTube was like, oh, you gotta censor this thing. That's not a good thing. So I want people to know about that. In fairness, once you reached 10 tabs deep, you probably have some bigger issues. Maybe you should probably split some of it out into a function, I think, usually. So what I'm thinking about now is what's like a clean way to make this recursive function potentially optionally delete the split nodes if they have no children, but then also it has to work with the root. Seems like YouTube is better for growing that audience, but Twitch is better for monetizing that audience from what I understand. You should consider it for world domination. Yeah, people have mentioned before I probably should multi-stream, and it's on the to-do list to investigate that. I have to think about I'd probably have to continue also streaming on YouTube because that's where most of my audience is, and on Twitch I'll be starting from zero. So it would make sense to multi-stream, but then I have to think about I have multiple chats now, and also there's like some people probably want to, like the success model there would be in getting like subs on Twitch, but at this juncture, it's not clear that that's necessarily the business model I want to follow. Let's see, I'll try to pronounce your name. Abdara Hamin says, keep the world domination up. Thank you for the $5. That'll go well toward my my fund for building my deep water port. Thank you very much. Robert, what do you do after completing world domination? I was just talking about that, we got to fix the economy, and we'll fix all the problems in the world. You use Ubuntu with Nano. I'm using Vim right now. I'm using Ubuntu, but this is Vim right here. What's is this guy? This guy right here. You pronounce it every day. Do I? I mean, like every stream, or? What's is this guy? I don't know how to answer that. I'm a guy that writes code. Ubuntu? Oh, you're asking a different question now. Like, why Ubuntu? Do you know how Nginx and Node.js parses HTTP request? I do not. You could probably just look up the code for it. It's probably open source. I need to build one. That's probably it's probably a lot of work to build like a functioning production HTTP parser. It's probably a lot of different corner cases and stuff. Ideally, you could find one that's already out there. It's a highly realistic AI human. Linux, right? Yes, indeed. BFDI boy says, hi. What is the code for? This is for a terminal-based game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. Not very tech nerdy. Okay. I guess so. You're saying that you're not very techy. That makes sense. I get there's some people that drop in the stream and are not that into tech by themselves. But if the YouTube algorithm showed you this stream, that probably means you're on the way to getting into tech. And before you know it, you'll be using Linux. It's so hard to read their code. My code. Anyway, good night, everyone. Have a good night. I sub? Excellent. One more subscriber. Oh, their code for Nginx. Yeah, I don't know. It's I would assume by now the specification for HTTP requests is pretty complicated. It could be wrong, but I would personally try. Depends what you're doing, but I would personally try to avoid where I can HTTP request parser and find one that exists. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if the Apache project has one. Maybe you could look in the, I don't know, maybe like Tomcat web server or something. Probably has one. Look into what they use. Or like learning basic soldering, Python and Java. That's a fairly broad number of fields if you're doing Python and Java and soldering. So you're doing embedded systems, Python and Java. There's a lot to learn to master all three of those things. BFDI boy says good night. Have a good night. Nginx says magic. I tried setting up Apache once. Couldn't give up and ended up setting Nginx reverse proxy. Apache web server is I guess there's the Apache, I think it's called the Apache project. There's like this whole family of like Apache libraries and stuff. And then there's Apache web server, which might also be under the Apache license. And then I think Tomcat web server is under the Apache license, if I remember correctly. Setting up Apache, I remember it always used to just be like sudo apt-get install Apache 2, and then it would just it would work. It's a school project. I can't use external libraries. Okay. I guess if it's a school project, they probably want you to like kind of limit the scope. Like if you're just doing the basic parsing of like options and head and stuff like that. I guess you have to look up how much they want you to support, because there's a ton of like tons of like headers and stuff that you can use. Actually, the basics of HTTP requests, like if you go back to the original internet stuff from like 1996, I think back then it probably would have been fairly simple to write an HTTP parser, probably in less than a couple hundred lines or something. Maybe, I don't know. But nowadays there's so many options and cache control stuff, and you can use Python. It's very simple to set up. Any specific language? Python web server isn't too bad. Yeah, I think Python would be a decent language to write a small project like that in, if you're doing it as a school project. What is the warning for though? Oh, that warning that appears on my stream. That's just telling me, I guess, like, yeah, probably like the warning you see down just below here. That's a warning from me saying that my internet's slow or something. It's just I'm showing the UI with like current viewers and chat rate and stuff, but as a consequence of that, that's part of the UI, where on my end it shows me there's a warning in the bitrate. So it's like it's for actually YouTube's webpage dashboard telling me that, but I have no way to like remove that, or I'm just lazy. .46 headers for HTTP 1.1. That doesn't sound too bad. It's like manageable, I guess. Probably a bit more than a single command, if external libraries are allowed. Still doable though. I recommend you test the TCL Neo X3 AR glasses when they come out. I probably won't. There's a chance they might have head tracking, and the base model will be $1,500. That's I don't have a lot of interest for that at the moment. No money. I got bigger priorities than AR goggles at the moment. Python minus RN minus Python minus M HTTP server. Yeah, you can set up an HTTP server easily with what is it? Is it just Python -m? I remember there's a -m in there somewhere. It kept censoring your message. What is this stream about? This stream is about me talking to chat about programming stuff while I try to work on my terminal-based video game for mining blocks. It's a video game you play in the Linux terminal, and right now I'm trying to figure out how to write this recursive function that will remove a target split from basically like a binary tree, effectively. Or not really a binary tree, but a tree of sorts. It keeps deleting my message if I put -m. Interesting. I guess we're every day we're learning more about the censorship algorithm. Oh, we got another super chat. Clickbait title. I think it's a pretty good clickbait title. Thank you very much to II-46 for the two. I forget, is that Singaporean dollars? Typing -m in a YouTube chat? How dare you? If you had a chance, would you go with us and leave Canada? If you had a chance, would you go with us and leave Canada? I guess it really depends who us is. But I probably wouldn't leave where I am right now. There's too many other things going on. And all kinds of real world constraints. It worked. Indeed, it did. Pretty sure it stands for super good dollars. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, how dare you try to teach Python? Are you more on hardware or software? More on software. I did get into hardware a little bit, but I found it's the iteration time is way longer, and I did a couple of Kickstarter projects to see if there's any interest in bootstrapping content based on that, and I got a little bit of interest, but it has always been my ambition to return back to hardware a bit, but the real issue is just building enough revenue, trying to find some kind of initial growth in my business. Something about teach a man to code and he will be frustrated for life. Hardware is also usually proprietary unless learning materials out there. Yeah, if you're doing some really well, I guess it depends what you're working on. There's like if you're trying to like really drill into like if you're trying to repair a television or something, that would be kind of a nightmare to find schematics and stuff. But in terms of like, you can just buy lots of like basic embedded systems components and like build like, you know, toy robot like cars and like integrate sensors into a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino and stuff, controlling motors. Most of that stuff is like, it's so like simple, it's not really proprietary, so that you can find quite a bit of information on that out there. Hoping the risk V becomes a thing. Yeah, I keep hearing more about it, so there's hope. What are the most significant projects you've worked on in your career? The most significant projects. When I worked at Amazon as an intern years ago, I worked on some stuff to like completely update the messaging process for. I implemented one feature that was like really high stakes. It was database cluster resize cancellation, which was, we had to be really careful that when you canceled the database cluster resize, that it like did it within a transaction and didn't like delete the wrong cluster or something, because there's a chance of deleting. You could delete like the good cluster instead of the bad one. Some things got swapped, and so that was quite a bit of work to get through. The next thing was kind of taking over a stalled project that another intern did to upgrade their messaging. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go on and list other projects, but it's probably a matter of opinion as to whether they were, whether you can call them significant projects or not. Also worked on a server for, I did consulting with a company that processed packets from a fleet of IoT devices, and there was like 1,000 devices connected to the server at once, and so we had to process all these incoming packets and like send out firmware updates and quantum stock market. Bubble got a lot bigger today. Superposition, still mind-boggling. Quantum stock market bubble got bigger today. Is there some kind of news about quantum mechanics in the stock market? Sorry, I have a patent on blinking LED Arduino projects. Oh darn, now I can, and you're not allowed to blink an LED anymore. The police will come and arrest you. Oh man, I'm tired today. I mean, this will probably be a shorter stream, just like yesterday. But maybe I'll try and get one piece of work done. Let's see if this will do a thing. This might not do what I want, but let's just run it because I'm tired. I want to see if it'll work. You joke, but I have MomTech M key keyboard that won't give me a Linux version of the software or API on how to change the LED mode macros on keyboard because it's all secret. What's missing with the current split removal code? Basically internally, the way the UI works. So if I go like open help menu, close help menu. So the UI starts with a root node, and then there's three types of splits, I call them. There's the horizontal split, the vertical split, and then there's the leaf node, and the leaf node is an actual frame. Like when I select between things, that's a frame. And the way I have it implemented is I want to be able to, at runtime, modify the tree of splits. So right now I'm implementing close current frame. So now all the frames are closed, but the code internally is like kind of garbage, and I just haven't taken the time to make it work or really think about it. And I should really have something to show me a bit more about the state. So what it was doing before, or possibly still is it was not actually right now. So technically, with the correct state is the root split should be null, but it was set to something else, and so the consequence was when I did open help menu. Oh, it's interesting. It's not even what I expected at all. Okay. Open help menu. Oh, okay. Interesting. Open help menu. That makes sense, I think, because I'll probably have so this code is also not at all generalized. Or it might be that this code pathway has never run before. Why do you have everything green? It looks cool, and also yeah, someone commented icons are most sensitive to green. Yeah, I have nothing to contribute on the keyboard discussion. So I think it's running this code pathway, but for some reason it's not working. Probably have to look through a bunch of this in the debugger so I can inspect things to make sure their state is right. Are you using Vim for the box with clean vimrc? Yes, I basically never do any configuration because I'm always working on a different machine or something. I tried configuring Vim early on, but then I decided it just makes sense to learn and adapt my process to vanilla Vim. And I've got a process that works pretty well, I think. Well, I don't think I'm going to make a lot of progress tonight. I've less on my plate tomorrow, so I'll pick this up tomorrow. And until then, have a good night, guys.